So yesterday evening, about 9:30 in the evening, crews were dispatched to a vegetation fire in the geysers geothermal area of the just above the community of Geyserville. Crews arrived to find a fire that was roughly a couple hundred acres in size already and rapidly expanding. Because of the terrain of the area, the crews had a difficult time getting around it early on, and the fire grew much more quickly in size, in addition to the fact that it was fueled by the dry northern winds that we were anticipated to receive. That night, the winds, we believe, were up to about 60 miles an hour or greater, which pushed that fire out of the geysers area, down the hill and into the Geyserville community, or just above the Geyserville community. Firefighters continued to engage throughout the night and then through the day as well, bringing in resources not only from CAL FIRE but from all over Northern California, other local government agencies. Currently, the fire stands at 16,000 acres. We have made 5% containment. We do have 49 structures confirmed destroyed. That damage assessment continues. It is not over, but that is our current count. We have over 1,300 firefighters on the line. That number is expected to go up by another 50% as early as tomorrow. We have 8 air tankers assigned, along with the very large air tanker, which was used today. Prior to the incident, CAL FIRE and our local government agencies staffed additional resources, such as crews, helicopters, aircraft, fire engines, and even a night flying aircraft in anticipation of this wind event. Currently, crews work throughout the day to further add to the control lines and continue to gain some containment on the fire itself. It was also the first chance they've had to see it in daylight, so they were able to get a better map of the area and actually establish a little better strategic plan for containment down the road. We will continue this process throughout the night and throughout the next day, 24 hours a day, for the next few days until the incident is mitigated. Thank you.
Speaking next will be Sonoma County Sheriff Essick.
Good evening. My name is Mark Essick. I'm the Sheriff of Sonoma County, and I'm going to be giving you an update on the current law enforcement activities surrounding the Kincade Fire. The Sheriff's Office acknowledges that this is a very stressful time for many members in our community. It brings back memories from 2 years ago. We want to assure every community member that the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office is in your neighborhoods right now that are being affected. We have over 50 deputies on duty right now. Overnight, we will have 26 deputies protecting the neighborhoods that have been evacuated and directing folks on how to evacuate. I want to address a little bit of rumor control. There's been some posting on social media that the evacuation order has been lifted. That is not accurate. All evacuation orders and warnings remain in effect. Currently, the evacuation order in the town of Geyserville and the hills east of Geyserville affects approximately 2,000 people. We want to continue to emphasize that we want people to heed those evacuation warnings, leave the area. We have plenty of deputies in the area to protect your property, and we will assist you in your evacuation. Currently, we are holding all evacuation routes. What that means is that once you leave an area, you will not be allowed back in, and we're doing that for your safety and for the safety of the firefighters and first responders in the area. As of right now, we have 0 reports of looting. We have no reports of looting in the area, and I attribute that to a large law enforcement presence of the Sheriff's Office and our law enforcement partners, the California Highway Patrol, CHP, Santa Rosa Police Department, and the Healdsburg Police Department, who have been assisting us. I'd also like to report that we have no missing persons at this time, and we have no fatalities reported to the Sheriff's Office at this time. We will continue to work closely with our CAL FIRE partners. We'll keep you informed. We want you to make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Nixle for immediate updates. And lastly, I want to thank the public for their incredible support of the public safety and the firefighters out there. We've had numerous donations of food and offers of help, and it is much appreciated. Thank you.
Speaking next from the California Highway Patrol is Captain Wolf.
Good evening. I'm Captain Aristotle Wolf, the commander of the California Highway Patrol here in Sonoma County. As far as Highway Patrol operations related to the fire, we are manning road closures and assisting the Sheriff's Department and our allied partners as necessary. Currently, those closures are essentially denying access to the town of Geyserville. We're at Geyserville Avenue and 101 and Geyserville Avenue and Canyon. We also have portions of 128 closed east of Geyserville, which begins at Alexander Valley and ends at Pine Flat Road. As the sheriff said, we are denying entry. So I understand that that can be frustrating to people, but please plan accordingly. And again, if you do leave an area, there shouldn't be people in the area, but if they do leave, they are not going to be allowed access back in. Our officers on those scenes are on fixed posts, and they'll be there until it's deemed that that's safe to let people back in. And in the meantime, we do have staffing brought in for other areas to assist with these closures so that you're still safe and secure on the roadways. So we have full staffing throughout the area for regular operations. I would just like to say that it is a frustrating time. I know you have your commutes and your daily business to go about, so please be patient with each other, be patient with us, take care of each other. And at this point, I know it's important to people for tomorrow's commute. There is no threat to US 101, so the freeway, the main freeway, will be open. And again, I just remind everyone to drive safely and keep your frustrations at bay. It's a tough time for everybody. Thank you.
Speaking next from the County Board of Supervisors here in Sonoma County, Supervisor Rabbitt.
Thank you. Certainly our thoughts are with the residents of the affected area. We are also thankful for the many first responders here in the county assisting those of us in need and protecting our life and property. And certainly behind those first responders, there's a deep bench of folks who work tirelessly in the roles to make sure we are all safe. And we are happy thus far that I believe there are no injuries reported, and we hope it stays that way. It has been a trying day. Again, the health and safety of our residents is our #1 concern. I'd like to say, obviously, fires bring poor air quality. We want you to minimize your exposure, wear a mask if possible, and avoid exertion outdoors also if possible. A good place to go and get information is socoemergency.org, socoemergency.org. You can track air quality issues. You can also see information on mental health resources. There's also a phone number for residents here in the county for mental health resources, Hope Sonoma County, business hours number 707-291-3788. We are well aware of the lingering trauma for many within Sonoma County from the 2017 wildfires. I'd also like to say that the evacuation center at Healdsburg is nearing capacity, if not already there, but the Santa Rosa Veterans Building is open, and we are able to accommodate anyone who needs shelter and anyone who needs services there. As has been said, please take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, take care of your neighbors, and be careful. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now open it up for questions. I just ask that we start with one field first, such as fire or law enforcement, ask the questions we have for them, and then move on to the next individual. So anyone who'd like to start? Sure.
What are your biggest areas of concern heading into the weekend?
I can honestly say there's no one given area of more concern than the other. Obviously, anything around structures or residences is always our priority. However, given the weather that's coming in the terrain, this entire fire area is truly of concern for us. It's not there's not one area we can take lightly, just because of not only what we have currently, but the incoming weather.
Chief, you say it's only 5% contained, but it's only grown 6,000 acres, which seems like very little considering how quickly it grew last night. Are you feeling like you're making progress?
Absolutely. Again, this was the first time since the fire started at 9:30 last night. The terrain that's up there makes it very difficult to actually see where you want to put your lines or where you can find opportunities for containment. So that's half the challenge in itself is working at night. Now that we've had a chance to see in the daylight and the weather moderated, our humidities came up a little bit, winds went down quite a bit. We were able to actually make some ground and actually make a better strategic plan. That's why, like I said, our personnel counts will be going up roughly 50% again tomorrow, as a significant resource orders going in tonight to boost up the day shift for tomorrow to take advantage of some of those strategies that were built today.
But you feel like you're up against the clock with these next weather things.
Absolutely, we absolutely are up against the clock. Not only with just the continually drying fuel moistures, but the winds that are predicted over the next couple of days are currently expected to be worse than what we had just the other night.
Chief, are you anticipating evacuation orders in any other parts of our county?
With the current fire behavior we have now, we are not anticipating any. However, we still, until we have line all the way around this fire, we urge everyone to be vigilant and be prepared to evacuate as things change with one small gust of wind.
Chief, what can you do overnight as far as firefighters on the line, as far as aircraft?
CAL FIRE doesn't fly aircraft at night currently, so we will not have any night dropping, water dropping missions going on. However, our ground forces we don't minimize our ground forces from any strength that we had during the day. So it's the same level we have at night, and that operation continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a seamless change from shifts every morning that the night shift goes off, the new shift comes on, and they put another 24-hour shift in.
What is your strategy for tonight, and where will you be focusing?
They continue to build control lines around it, mop up areas of hotspot. Any fire that's still active, they will continue to go in and put that out, whether it be bulldozers, hand crews, or what we call hose lays using fire hose. All those same strategies where the fire's out, we will continue to put fuel breaks in to where we bring it down to mineral soil. And until there's mineral soil all the way around this entire fire, that operation will continue. But that'll go on through day or night. There was not. For us, it doesn't change much. It doesn't necessarily change much in this particular environment.
Chief, what's the situation at River Rock Casino?
There is no immediate danger to River Rock, but I honestly couldn't. I have to get back to you on their evacuation status. Not as it relates to any sort of a cause. We discussed it as far as an infrastructure damage and something to watch out for in the future, but not as far as cause goes, no.
How close is it to the origin of the fire?
I'm sorry.
Are you investigating the source of possible transmission line?
We investigate any and all possibilities of all fires.
Is this near the source, though? I mean, PG&E said that you guys reported that you saw the jumper had broken near a transmission tower, and you had cordoned it off. So what is that all? What are we supposed to take from that?
Investigators look for many, like I said, they have to rule out every single possibility. So just because an area is cordoned off doesn't necessarily make it an area of interest. It's just an area that they need to follow up with a little more detail.
How did the call of this fire come in, and how helpful were all the cameras?
I'm sorry?
How did the call of the fire come in and report, and how helpful were all the wildland cameras now that you have it?
I don't know how the call came in. I believe it's through 911, but I couldn't say that for certainty. The value of the cameras is we have found to be immensely valuable during the daytime, a little less so at night, just because of the what am I looking for? The clarity of the picture. You don't get nearly as much detail, so you can't tell with as much certainty as what's going on. But the camera network has been very helpful to us in determining whether we have a fire or not. We don't judge our tactics by it. We don't base our strategy by it, but it does help us confirm whether there's a fire or not.
And is there an area of the fire tonight, northwest and south, that you're focused more on based on where the winds might show up?
No, we've got enough personnel tonight. We have personnel on all sides. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any question for law enforcement? Sheriff's Department or CHP?
I have a Sheriff's Department question.
Sure.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm really short, but I know you confirmed there's no missing people and no fatalities. Is it safe to say no injuries, or are there injuries?
So the question was confirming no fatalities, no missing persons. The question was, do we have any injuries? I'm not able to report exactly that level of detail to you right now. The most important thing I think that we wanted to get out was no fatalities, no missing persons. As we saw with the 2017 fires, when we had a high missing person count, it caused a lot of anxiety and concern, and we're not facing that in this particular situation.
Are you still getting a lot of pushback from evacuations? You said there was pushback earlier.
Question about pushback on evacuations. Yes, I spoke about that earlier today. I do attribute the pushback on evacuations to people being better prepared. As I spoke about earlier, many residents of this county are better prepared than they were 2 years ago. They've prepared their homes, they've fire-safed their homes, they have emergency kits at home, and they feel like they're able to weather this out. And that is a problem with us, with the pushback. We really want people to heed our warnings and evacuate those areas. So as we've talked about a little bit tonight, if there is a change in wind, if there's a sudden urgency that comes about, we don't want to have to try to evacuate people at the last minute when a fire is approaching. We want to have an area clear. So it is an obstacle that we're still working with. That's why we still have deputies in the neighborhoods tonight in Geyserville and the eastern area hills, to be available to direct people if they have questions or if they're anxious or concerned. We have deputies in your neighborhood right now who can help you.
Did the power outage affect how your deputies alerted people? Did they go door to door? I heard there were sirens and some door to door, but was there concern that notification wouldn't get to the building because of the power situation?
A question about how we alert people during a power outage. So that's why the Sheriff's Office and our public safety partners have chosen multiple platforms. We don't just do radio, TV, we don't just do cell phones. We have multiple ways to alert people, including our high-low sirens. So it's really a purposeful act on our part to alert people on as many platforms as possible. So far, I'm not aware of any power outages causing disruptions in our notification.
Sheriff, have you noticed any change in the number of calls related to people who need electricity for medical needs?
The question was about electrical power for medical needs. I'm not aware of any changes to that. Whenever we have a public safety power shutoff, we do get a list from PG&E of the number of people who could possibly be affected on medical devices. So that's always something we're aware of, but I don't have any updates for you on that.